What's up everybody, we're back with another raid guide, and today we're taking a look at the Prophet Skitra on Mythic difficulty. So I'll be going over most of the mechanics, how to deal with them, and our overall tactic for this fight. So for this encounter you want 2 tanks, 4 healers, and 14 DPS. Be sure to bring some classes that can CC the images of Absolution like Mass Roots, Ring of Frost, or knockbacks like Ring of Peace. Of course, these are always useful on mechanics like the images of Absolution, but it's especially useful here due to the new Mythic mechanic, which is as soon as the encounter starts you will get either Clouded Mind or Twisted Mind. Tanks will always get different debuffs and healers as well, assuming there's an even number of healers in the raid. These are the same debuffs you get in normal and heroic during phase 2. Instead, it's just all the time, so this means that some abilities can only be seen or dealt with by half your raid. For example, the ad that spawns from Shred Psyche can only be seen and DPS by half your raid. You can still hit it with some cleaves and AoEs, even if you can't see it though. And the images of Absolution can only be seen by the other half of your raid. This debuff will also periodically change throughout the encounter, but that really doesn't change a single thing. So with that said, let's go over the fight. On pull and at the start of every phase 1 you want to tank Skitra kinda in the middle of the room so the images don't spawn right on top of the boss. Put a raid marker like 30 to 40 yards away from the boss for Shred Psyche so players know where to drop it, and players who can't see the ad know where it is so they can avoid it. Anytime phase 1 repeats, we just pull the boss straight backwards to center it again regardless of where it is during phase 2. And this is for 2 reasons. Biggest one, less running, but it also makes dealing with the wall of images a bit easier since you've already cleared a safe zone, if you will, where the boss is. Just keep in mind that you need to remark a Shred Psyche location when phase 1 starts again, as the boss probably won't be in the same position as it was on pull. On the subject of Shred Psyche, as soon as it spawns, ranged DPS that can see it needs to swap to it melee swaps after it has cast Psychic Outburst. In phase 1, when images of Absolution spawns, it is important that players that can see him make use of their CCs on images that will otherwise hit the raid. However, don't go over the top with CCing since you will also need to keep him in check during phase 2. Other than that, there's not much to say about phase 1. Ideally, you want to transition into phase 2 before the boss casts its second set of Shred Psyche. It will make life a bit easier, but if that's not an option, just play it safe, deal with the second ad, and make sure no images runs over the raid during it. With that said, let's take a look at phase 2 where the fun starts. If you have images up, make sure to create a safe space, if you will, that the raid can stack in without getting killed while the tanks go on an adventure to find the real Skitra. For this, you can either have one tank put a raid marker down in front of each Skitra illusion and the other tank simply calls out when he can see a raid mark in front of his illusions. Or like we did, we just went mark for mark, so the marquee tank puts down 1 and I call if it's correct, and we did that until we found the right one. So he called out blue if he placed the blue marker, and I said yes or no. Can't say which is faster, but that's what we've been doing. Only thing I can say is that the purple marker is hard to see if images are around the boss. Other than that, you need to make sure that the half of your raid team that can't see the images safely gets to the illusion. For this, we again use tanks since one tank will always be able to see the images. Put a mark on each tank, and whichever tank sees the illusion, the rest of the raid follows. This includes calling for CCs etc. for any images that needs to get knocked away or routed so the raid can get to the illusion. Communication really is key here. And try to play it safe or you might get stuff like this questionable call at best from me here. Pretty much said run through orange mark tank. I did not however add that the walls almost overlap so you can't run straight through the orange mark, you have to go in like diagonally. A much better thing would have been to knock the images away or wait a few seconds for the ad's immune to drop and you just kill him instead.
What you said, Zengi, is lies.
Point of this rant, don't stress. Waiting a couple of seconds extra to make sure that everyone gets their safe is more important. Other than that, there's not much to say about phase 2. Find the real Skitra, make sure that everyone gets to the ad safe, make sure to communicate safe zones and where CC is needed. When phase 2 ends, pull boss back a couple of yards to center, mark new Shred Psyche location and rinse repeat. The overall DPS check isn't too tight on this fight. As I mentioned earlier, if you can push into phase 2 without getting a second Shred Psyche, it helps, and the faster you do phase 2, the less stacks of Dark Ritual you will get, which means less damage taken. But the main thing here really is communication, so that people don't die from the images of Absolution. Lastly, use Bloodlust when you find the real Skitra during your last phase 2, and most of it will carry over from most of the last phase 1. And I think that pretty much covers everything. So with that said, if you have any questions, make sure to hit me up on Facebook or become a Patreon. As a Patreon, you will get access to my Discord, where you'll find all our notes, weak auras, and it's the fastest way to get a hold of me if you need any help during your progression. There's also a bunch of lovely Patreons helping each other out in the Discord with anything they need for progression, so make sure to check that out. And as always, if you like this video, hit that subscribe button, leave me a like, and ring that notification bell. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.